This is ThinkTech Talks here on a given Wednesday, and we are on the phone with Cecilia Aguillon. Did I say that right, Cecilia?
It's Aguillon, but that's fine.
Aguillon. She is in San Diego. She is with Kyocera. She's in you are in the marketing department for Kyocera?
Yes, I'm the Director of Marketing and Government Relations for Kyocera Solar.
Well, thank you for joining us today. We wanted to talk to you because there has been so much news about Kyocera. But first, can you tell us, Cecilia, what is Kyocera? What kind of company it is? How big is it? What does it do?
Kyocera is a multinational corporation. The name came from Kyoto in ceramics. Ceramics is the core technology for Kyocera, and it's a high-tech ceramics. So we are involved in we're a very diversified company. We're involved in a number of technologies, mostly having to do with the ceramics, such as semiconductors, microelectronics, industrial ceramics, copiers and printers, cell phones, and solar energy. We've been around since the 1950s, and we have been in the solar energy since 1975. So we are one of the pioneers in solar energy technology. We have factories throughout the world, in Europe, in North America, Japan, and China. And we really cover all the global markets. We also cover every segment of the market you can think of, such as off-grid industrial markets like oil and gas, telecommunications, and residential, commercial, utility scale projects as well.
Oh, that's great. And that, it's appropriate then that we call this little episode Kyocera is Everywhere. That's what we called it.
It's true.
You wouldn't disagree with that.
Not at all.
Well, anyway, I wanted to ask you about three things that have popped up in the news. The first one is the strategic alliance that Kyocera has made with Iron Ridge for solar module mounting systems. This sounds like it's an important development and could affect solar installations everywhere. Can you tell us what it is and what the relationship is now?
Absolutely. We have been in manufacturing solar cell and modules for almost 40 years. And now, the markets are getting competitive and prices are going down, and we are trying to drive down the cost of installed systems. So to do that, we have decided to partner strategically with providers of the components that complement the solar modules. So the main ones, obviously, in the grid tie segment are the inverters and the racking system. Mm-hmm. So what we want to do is provide the installer with a package system that they can just offer to the home or business and drive down the cost for that installer, who ultimately would lower the cost to the end user. So we're trying to do two things. One is to drive down cost, and two is to make sure that the components that go along with our modules are the top quality. Because Kyocera, this is just, I'm sorry if I sound a little bit pretentious, but we are in the tier one in the market, meaning that our quality our reputation is well known in the industry as being the top. So for us, if we have the best-in-class module, we have to have the best-in-class components and what we call balance of systems, the inverters, the racking systems. So we, after a long period of time where we were trying out products and talking to potential partners, we came up with those two to complement our modules. So the industry views them as a very high-quality product, and they have good reputation. They've been in the market for a while, so we thought, we wanted to really help out our end users and our installers to reduce cost by buying from us both major components.
So that's the mounting system. It's a high-quality component that will save costs. And now you're in an alliance recently with Iron Ridge. Who is Iron Ridge, and what's the nature of the alliance regarding the solar module mounting system you're talking about?
Yeah, Iron Ridge has been in the industry for a while. They are an American company, and we, basically it's used for, projects for home systems, you want to install a system on somebody's home, you have to have a really good quality racking, which is basically the mounting where you mount the modules and you secure them to your roof. And that's what Iron Ridge provides to us. So we have a good pricing and good quality projects, and they work with us very closely and with the installers as well.
Is there intellectual property involved in the mounting systems that you have?
I wouldn't say, well, in what they provide, yes, obviously, because is there a specific mounting system which is it fits very easily with our modules, so that makes it makes the installation go faster, and obviously reduces the cost. But they are very picky about who they do business with as well. So we are the only manufacturers who are partnered with Iron Ridge at this point.
Okay, well, I guess does this affect Hawaii? We have an enormous number of. I think I heard last that we have 36,000 rooftop residential installations in our state. How does this system and this alliance affect us, if at all? Is it something only for new installations, or could it be used for a remodel of old installations?
It's, I would say, for new installations, unless something goes wrong with the racking system that you currently have. But it's mostly for if you already have a system installed, then obviously you wouldn't change it. There is no reason why, unless something fails, something happens.
Okay. So if anybody's interested in a new solar installation, they might be interested in a new racking system that was made by Kyocera under this arrangement. Yeah.
Well, it's made by Iron Ridge, yes.
And made by Iron Ridge, and you're marketing with Iron Ridge, I see.
Right.
So, are you doing business in Hawaii? Are you selling, installing in Hawaii?
We are not installing. We work with the installer partners that we have, but we are definitely, Hawaii is one of the biggest markets in North America. You may already know that, but it's doing really well for us right now, and we hope that the new upcoming policies and laws and regulatory proceedings that are going on are just don't do anything to slow down the market, but we hope that it continues to grow.
Yes, this is a good segue for us to talk about your 1,000-volt solar PV modules. If you don't mind, I'd like to cover that now. What is that, and how does that affect your offerings?
This new module is it again is to make the installation more cost effective. It reduces the cost because the way it is designed, it uses a thinner wiring, which will be cheaper and uses less copper. So that again will reduce costs on the installers. We're doing everything we can to reduce costs to the installers. And one of the things about this is that this type of module has been used in Europe for a number of years now, and it was coming to the U.S. But in the U.S., because the wires in the back of the module that you put the modules in strings, and then you have to run the strings, tie them to each other. With this type of module, you use less wires. And by doing that, some people felt that because the wires are thinner, that there may be some issues with reliability. But our module has been tested in Europe, and he has passed with flying colors. So we are very secure and very optimistic that we will have the same success once this module is out. I don't know if I can talk a lot about it at this point because it's not available in the market just yet. It's going to come out in January. So
okay.
We may send another press release.
That's all right. So is there now a 1,000-volt solar module on the market, or is this a brand new denomination of solar module?
Well, it's new in the U.S., but it has been used in Europe.
So this will make it cheaper, more efficient for a residential installation?
Yes, and commercial, yes.
Okay, and I will be able to save money by using this kind of 1,000-volt module?
Correct. Correct.
Oh, okay. Will it be available, when it comes out in January, will it be available in Hawaii?
Absolutely. We'll make sure of that.
Okay, well, we're looking forward. We think it's great that Kyocera is supplying Hawaii. We think Hawaii is the most important market in the world, actually.
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
To us too.
So I want to talk about one third item, if you don't mind, Cecilia. I caught your press release about Midway Airport in Chicago, and you've installed a fairly substantial facility there using solar. Can you tell us about this facility?
Yeah, this is a car rental place at the airport, and this is where it's like a car wash at the airport, and they basically are doing it. A couple of things. One is to be green, and to reduce their energy costs at the facility. So it's kind of like the first of more projects coming up in Chicago. The city is very interested in moving solar forward and accelerating the markets. So they are working with businesses and mostly businesses, but also in communities to push for more solar. So we did this, and it was interesting because the Kyocera not only provided the modules and the equipment, but we were also part of the engineering team. We helped the installer because the roof was very old, and we were not sure when you have all the weight of the modules on top and roof being old and all the snow in Chicago.
Yes.
And the wind. So we were concerned about that, but our engineering team did, some adjustments to the array in the way they installed it, and retrofitted the roof a little bit to secure it and make sure that there's not going to be any problems later on. So there are a lot of nuances when you install systems that a lot of people don't appreciate, because you see the panels on top of the roof and you think, oh, it's just easy to put up panels, but you really have to think about where you're putting them and what kind of surface you're using. So that was something that for the carport at Midway they were very concerned with, but we have as far as we know today, it's very secure. We are also finishing up, and you may see in the news too, another airport in Tucson, Arizona, and that is a much bigger array. It's 1 megawatt or a little bit more, but I cannot talk too much about it because we are doing a press release. But that's another airport project that we're doing, and it seems that these airports and public buildings or facilities where there's a lot of traffic are very interested now in looking at solar.
And this will save money for both of the municipalities involved, I guess.
Yes.
Providing green energy off the solar. But you have a system called the integrated grounding system. I guess that applies in both of these installations. Can you tell me a little about the integrated grounding system? I'm sorry, that's for the solar module with Iron Ridge. I withdraw that question.
Yeah.
I'm wondering though, in the case of the two airports, what are you using at night? What are you using when there's not a lot of sun to drive the panels? Are you connecting with the grid for that, or do you have a storage system that keeps it going overnight?
Well, that's really interesting. Right now, all the systems that we've done so far, with a few exceptions, are what we call the grid tie. So basically, like in the net metering or the program in Hawaii, where you install the system and then you use the energy. So it's the same in these two types of projects where the end user, the airports, would use the energy, and then whatever they don't use, they would send to the grid. But because the projects are very small, they don't use up, for commercial projects, a lot of the energy stays in with the end user.
Yes.
With residential is a little bit different because people leave the homes to go to work,
Yes.
and then the energy that they produce is more than they can use, so the energy goes into the grid and is net metered.
Yes.
But in the commercial, even though it does not have a storage, the energy that they're using is usually not. I apologize. Is not enough to to send to the grid. With the storage, though, that is something that Kyocera is working on, has been working on for a while, and we do have a product. We have a storage system that is coupled with, well, it's got the panels, the battery, lithium-ion battery, and the fuel cell. And that is for projects at this point in Japan. We are deploying a lot of them in small commercial, because of the blackouts after the nuclear plants got turned off, and there is a lot of fear in the public that there might be blackouts during the summertime or what have you. And also they have hurricanes and all that. But so we are now deploying that. Europe is very interested in the storage because of the grid, and Germany, for example, has over 30 gigawatts of PV in their grid, and similar to Hawaii, where you sell the energy to the utility, in Germany, almost all of the solar install goes to the utility. So there is not very much that the customer uses themselves. So now, because there's issues with grid, then the government is really promoting the use of storage, and that's creating a lot of creating the market, basically. And we think that storage is today where solar PV was about 10 years ago, and that if Japan and Germany continue to accelerate the market in the storage area, we will see that happening in the US, and I'm very sure that Hawaii will be the first market that's going to benefit.
I hope so, and I'm encouraged by the fact that Kyocera will do the engineering, will come and try to solve the technical problems and integrate it, and certainly that would help anybody, any owner or government agency that would like to install a substantial solar system by having the benefit of what you have learned elsewhere in Japan and in Europe and on the mainland US. So it sounds like Kyocera is really committed to clean energy and to solar and to solar partnerships and of course to storage systems. Is this a big part of the company's initiative going forward?
No question, no question. When the founder of Kyocera started, getting involved in it, his dream was to, help the developing world develop by skipping, fossil fuel technologies and going directly to renewables. And Japan was the first market that opened solar and made it affordable. Solar PV is what I'm talking about. In '94, when the Japanese government set up their program, it was $20 a watt installed. Now in Japan, it's $2 a watt installed. So that they had, they came up with an amazing program that was very transparent, and people knew what they were getting. The rebates went down over time, and I think Germany picked it up, and now we have it in the US. And I'm sure you have heard or seen how solar just became so popular in Hawaii. You see it like everywhere now, and I think that was the goal of our company and our founder, and he's seeing that Latin America is really growing with solar, Africa and Southeast Asia. Thailand is one of the bigger markets even. So I think that our commitment has been there since 1975, and being that we are a company that is very diversified, very strong, and we really have spent a lot of resources on R&D and making the product safe and durable. I think that we hope to see a bright future. So.
Yes. Are your panels and other tech devices, solar devices, made in Japan or elsewhere?
So we have our components come from many places, a lot from the U.S. And we make them in North America. So we're very global, and we try to outsource locally. So yeah, it's we, we're from everywhere. So it's hard for me to specify what how much is American and how much is Japanese and how much is from Europe, but we are, North America is a very big hub for us, and we are actually, our North American headquarters for Kyocera International is here in the state of California now, but our factory is in Tijuana, which is about 20 minutes from our office in Mexico on the other side, and we're very local, I guess.
Yeah, that's great. So, if I want to know more about Kyocera, and I do, where would I look? What is your website?
Yes, you can go to Kyocera, www.kyocera.com, Kycora.com, or you can go to the solar website, kyocerasolar.com, and you can, look us up and send us an email. Like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter, so we're everywhere.
Well, thank you very much, Cecilia. Cecilia Aguillon, in the marketing department for Kyocera in San Diego. Thank you for joining us. And I truly, truly hope we can come back to you later and do this again and ask you questions going forward about new developments at Kyocera.
Absolutely, it would be my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cecilia. Aloha.
Aloha.